when Darth Vader is about to strike down Obi-Wan Kenobi, what does he say? He says, if you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can ever imagine. So Hashem did that. He was struck down, but he became more powerful than Titus could imagine. The verse that we say prior to saying Shemona Esrei, we say, Mi chamocha ba'elim Hashem. Who is like you, Hashem, among the elim, which means among the powers, among the elim. Now the Gemara makes a play on this verse. The Gemara makes a play on this verse because elim means powerful, but the word elam means mute. And the Gemara plays with this verse and offers an alternative reading of it, which is this. Mi kamocha ba'ilmim Hashem. Who is like you among those who are mute? What sort of a praise is that? Who is like you, Hashem, among the mutes? So, to understand that, you have to understand the context of the Gemara. The Gemara is talking about the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. And it relates that King Titus, the Roman emperor, enters into, he wasn't emperor yet. His father Vespasian was the emperor. He was the general at that time. So General Titus, who would later be king, enters into the temple and he comes to the Holy of Holies and he commits some terrible acts. He takes a Sefer Torah and he spreads it on the ground. He brings a prostitute into the Holy of Holies over there with a Sefer Torah, and he does something on the Sefer Torah, okay? Then he takes so he really defiles the place as grossly as he can. Then he takes his sword and he slashes the curtain that divides the Holy of Holies from the rest of the temple. And the Gemara says when he slashes the curtain, blood drips out of the curtain. And he says, aha! I've slaughtered the Jewish God. I've conquered the Jewish God in his most private chamber. That's what he says. And they pillage the temple, they take the treasures out, they walk away triumphant. They've got thousands of Jewish prisoner slaves, and they just pack them onto ships and sail away to Rome triumphant. And God seemingly stands by and does nothing. Not only does he do nothing, but he lets blood come out of the curtain as though almost to acknowledge that he's defeated. Mm-hmm. Here the Gemara comments that here you see the greatest might of Hashem. Because sometimes the greatest strength, it's very powerful, I'm going to tell you right now. Sometimes the greatest strength, and Hashem teaches it to us, is to just take it and not answer back. That takes more strength sometimes than anything else. It says, Tola Eretz al Blima. There's a pasuk that says that Hashem is Tola Eretz. He suspends the earth al Blima, which literally means Blima, without anything. He suspends the earth in nothing, in vacuousness, which is a description of, the globe of the earth hangs in the expanse of empty space. But the rabbis interpret that as well. What does the earth stand on? What keeps the earth afloat? Blima, says the Gemara, means Misha bolem piv b'shas meriva. Someone who's bolem, from the word blima. Bolem means to shut up. Someone who bolem piv, he shuts his mouth b'shas meriva, at the time of an argument. Sometimes to be the stronger person means not to answer back. And so in the time of his defeat, so to speak, I'll put defeat in quotation marks, it was the great strength of Hashem not to strike down Titus on the spot. Why, you little? Hashem was saying, there's nothing you could do to me that can harm me. So what's with the blood? Ben Yehoyada says, this is one of the commentaries on the aggadah, on these stories of the Gemara, says that the symbolism of that is that the blood drips down into the earth. And what God was giving a sign to the Jewish people is that, it says, Hadam hu hanefesh. The Torah says the blood is the life soul. Hashem is saying, I'm not vanquished. My spirit is leaving this place, and it's going into the earth which extends all over the globe. And though you will be exiled and you will be taken to any corner of the globe, know that I am there with you, because I've put my spirit into the earth. And that was the symbolism of the blood dripping from the curtain of the Holy of Holies into the ground. So when Titus thought he had vanquished Hashem, lahavdil, I compare it to when Darth Vader is about to strike down Obi-Wan Kenobi. What does he say? He says, if you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can ever imagine. And Darth Vader swings the lightsaber, and it just swooshes right through Obi-Wan Kenobi's robe, and the robes drop to the ground, and there's no body in it. And Darth Vader's like, where'd he go? Right? But his spirit stays with Luke Skywalker, so that at the pivotal moments of his life, he's sort of over his shoulder. Use the Force, Luke. He's always there with him. He's always there with him. So Hashem did that. He was struck down, but he became more powerful than Titus could imagine in the quietness. Now the Gemara goes on to say that Titus is sailing with his ships back to Rome on the Mediterranean Sea, and suddenly there's a great storm, and the ships are going to capsize, and Titus realizes that he's being taken to task by the Jewish God that he just attacked. So he comes up onto the bow of his ship, and he looks sort of defiantly into the wind and defiantly into the storm, and he says, have you no power other than over the water? Just as you destroyed Egypt with water, the splitting of the sea, so you will destroy me. It is because you are weak, and your strength is only over the water. He says, come fight me on land and see who wins. I beat you last time. How about a rematch? So it says at that moment, the seas quieted, and Titus was able to sail the rest of the way to Rome. This ominous silence. Hashem's like, okay. So the Gemara tells us that Hashem's response to him was, he says, you declared that you defeated me in my most intimate chamber. He says, I will defeat you in your most intimate chamber with the weakest of creatures. So as Titus was coming ashore, and he could imagine the throngs of Romans who came to cheer their troops that had come home successfully, and they're parading all these downtrodden Jewish slaves and all the Jewish treasures, and they're being cheered on, and Titus is triumphantly marching ahead and reaping this glory. Suddenly, it says, a little mosquito, yitush, it says, a little mosquito flies up into Titus's nose, and it wedges himself in his nasal passage, and he can't remove it. And slowly, this little bug makes its way into Titus's cranium, into his brain cavity. And the Gemara relates to us how later Titus suffered from terrible, terrible headaches that got worse and worse and worse over time. When Titus dies, they cut his skull open to see what was the source of these headaches he was always screaming about. And they found this very fat, bloated mosquito in his brain, looking very satisfied for himself. And that was sort of the fulfillment of this promise that Hashem made. He says, I'll get you in your most private chamber, right? With the smallest of creatures. Meaning, Hashem doesn't need thunder and lightning. He doesn't need splitting of the sea. He doesn't need 10 plagues. He doesn't need all these grandiose miracles. Hashem is working silently behind the scenes, and he's moving pieces. And he doesn't take any credit for it. He makes it all look natural. He's very humble, and in his humility is his strength. And that's how the Gemara interprets Mi chamocha ba'elim Hashem. Who is like you among the elim, the powers, but Says the Gemara, Ba'ilmim, among the mute ones. Is there anyone who's as mute as Hashem, who holds his power back more? Hashem was the ultimate power. He could do whatever he wants, and he holds himself back. There's no greater power than that. Silence can be the greatest show of strength.